up, world? My name is Timothy De Jesus.
Hi everyone, Aldrich here.
Hello folks, it's Kevin Kwok here.
Hi, this is Jeremy C. I just wanted to say this about bottoms-up perspectives. It's about real lives, real journeys, and real perspectives.
The whole idea behind bottoms-up perspective was from the word kampai, or in Asian culture, oftentimes we drink until the bottom of our cup is empty and we turn it over. So it's very much like just cheers, right? And building relationship. And that's what we're all about, is building authentic, solid relationships on a global level and being able to see things from a global perspective.
And no, we're not Alcoholics Anonymous.
We are here to be the voice of everyone.
I love the idea that we're real people and we get to share our experiences with real people just like you.
So we look forward to having you join us. What's going on, LinkedIn? And I wanted to say hi to everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as well. So we're everywhere tonight. And we're super excited. I think isn't it episode 34 today? No,
33.
Episode 33.
33.
And yep. And the topic today is healing. And we have our own special guest here, Dawn. And so Dawn, why don't you introduce to our audience kind of what you do and the book you wrote as well? And yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Kevin, Jen, and Aldrich for having me here today. It's actually morning in Singapore right now, about 9:15 a.m. Yeah, so a brief introduction of myself. I'm an emotion specialist, helping women and children with their emotional blockages and also limiting beliefs that affect the everyday life ongoing of issues that we have to deal with life, especially curveballs. So helping women and children to remove all these blockages for good so that they will have a life full of self-esteem, confidence, and clarity to go on. So I've been doing this work for the last 8 years. It's been a fulfilling journey. Over here in Singapore, it's not something very big because it's considered alternative kind of healing. Yeah, because over here, the medical industry is really huge, like in the US. But from this period of COVID, I'm heartened to see that more and more people are moving towards having natural way of healing and recovering. So it's helping me in a way. It's like crisis becomes opportunity. So it's been a great time for me so far, meeting lots of people and women, especially children who are suffering from anxiety. And so something about my book, which I wrote 10 years ago, which I shared with Kevin earlier before we went live. So the book is really about how to uplift ourselves through clothes and things we wear, like belts and shoes, all that. Because if it's hard to work on the inside at the beginning, it's actually helpful to make use of what you have externally, like clothing, to uplift yourself and to start your day with a brighter moment. Yeah, so why not? And look at how to balance your body shape, how to just add colors to your life instead of just black and gray and white. Although I'm actually wearing black and white stuff, but it's the style.
Black as well. So Aldrich is the most colorful.
Yes, Aldrich is in pink sometimes. I love it, actually.
I always feel black is very slimming, like very professional, makes you look more slender. So
it does. It's chic, I would say. But you can actually add on other stuff like accessories too, which I also wrote in my book, like how do you enhance your overall image, even if it's a black outfit. Yeah, sometimes I wear all black too, but then how do you actually use belts and earrings to enhance it, like what you're doing, Jen? You're wearing a pair of great earrings there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. You can't really see them, but yes.
Yeah, I saw that when you were wearing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, very detailed.
Thank you.
I wanted to just shout out to some of our audience. Looks like Timothy want to say hi to you as well for hopping on.
Hi.
And then also Timothy Shade, thanks for joining us. And then want to say hi to Jacqueline, always supporting us. Looks like Robin just jumped on. There's quite a bit of people. Jeremy couldn't join us tonight because he had to work. but he's part of the audience, it looks like. So everyone say hi to Jeremy. Thanks, Nick, for always being on our show as well. And looks like a lot of people are jumping on. We apologize today because we forgot that daylight savings only apply here in the U.S., and this is a global show. So it was my fault. And thanks for Eldrick for reminding me that daylight savings doesn't apply everywhere else in the world. So
Especially for the countries in equator, we don't have this thing called daylight savings. We are at equator, you know.
Yep.
I didn't have a chance to put my makeup on. Like, crazy.
You look great natural, Timothy. You look great without it. I like your accessories. You know, she was talking about adding accessories. You've got your accessories on.
We forgot to do the hats and hoodies for this episode, right?
I asked and he said have hair, and I was like, okay, have hair. So here it is. I was very fast.
So Jeremy said he's a boy and he don't wear pink. So what do you ladies think about men wearing pink?
I'll let Don share. I'll let Don share on that first.
Pink color doesn't have age. So anyone can wear pink.
That's awesome.
Especially boy. So Jeremy, you can actually wear pink.
Yep.
What is it about pink?
I like wearing pink.
So I don't know about Asian culture, but definitely in American culture, we teach, I should say we, but it's not really we. A lot of people in our culture teach their boys that we don't play with girls' toys. We don't wear certain colors that we actually associate as a girl's color. So pink is one of those colors that's actually associated, or light pastel type colors are associated as a girl's, soft colors are associated as girls' stuff. And so a lot of times we keep our boys from being able to enjoy things that actually is just something that we defined as girly. So I feel if you're a man and you're not afraid to be a man wearing pink, that's actually more attractive to a female, in my opinion. And also it depends on the shade of pink, and it depends on what matches your skin color. If it looks good on you, I say wear it bold.
That's right. It very much depends on the man's confidence to carry pink. Of course, not like the bright fuchsia kind of pink. It's like too loud. But if you can just wear subtle pink, you know, wearing it at the right place, sometimes the Bermudas, pink Bermudas for guys is actually quite lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So in Singapore here, yes, pink is something associated with girls, but over here it's getting a little modern because we are pretty much impacted by the Korean culture. The Korean fashion culture, and the Korean stars are in like lots of colors. If you go on to YouTube and you check out the MTVs, even the Korean boys are putting on makeup like how girls are putting on makeup.
Yes, they are. They are. I will say definitely because Kevin and I watch a lot of Korean stuff. I watch a lot of Korean series, the music. Of course, BTS is famous across the globe. They are not afraid of style. They are not afraid of trying anything. They are not afraid of color and makeup. And I absolutely love that, Dawn. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's confidence showing through. Pink.
Yes, I've tried to put eyeliner on Kevin, but he won't let me. I tried to put eyeliner. I said, you should do a video. You wear eyeliner like the Korean guys. He said, absolutely not.
Eyeliner is for enlarging eyes.
You guys are funny.
Yes, it works. It does.
Yeah, it's a need, right? And it's not like a wand kind of thing.
That's why we needed some ladies to balance out our crew on BUP. So, well, I wanted to go ahead and start. So tonight's show is going to be on healing. So the first question I have is, what do you do to have the right mindset? Because a lot of times healing starts in our mind. So I wanted to, let's start with our guest today. So what do you do to have the right mindset for yourself?
All right. So for me, it's like Awareness is the first thing that we need to observe, because if we are struggling with lots of pain emotionally or mentally, or anguish, usually when someone says something that hurts us or something happened that's not going according to what we planned, so sometimes the anguish comes up, and it's a matter of how much do you want that to stop, because a lot of time we enjoy being sucked into the anguish thoughts, thinking like, how could he do that to me? How could she say that? And to a point where it's only when you feel that it's just causing you so much emotional pain and mental pain, when you have that awareness, that you will be able to want to stop it. If you don't have that awareness, you just be enjoying going in circles in your mind and having that mind chatter in your head. Yeah. So for those people, I would say that they are not the target market that I have. Yeah. For those who are like wanting to just do something about it, like just stop all this negative mind chatter, these are the ones that have increased awareness going onward. And it's where the first step will be to tell themselves that, okay, so how much time do I want to spend on this mind chatter today? And slowly you can cut back. Like, okay, today I'm going to spend just 20 minutes. And tomorrow, if I have the same kind of anguish thoughts again, I'm just going to cut to 15 minutes. And with this method, it's simple, but it takes effort, because sometimes we would just be feeling so angry or so unhappy all the time. We just enjoy it, actually, although we don't feel good. So it's that awareness to want to just limit yourself step by step on a daily basis. Yeah.
That's good. What about you, Tim?
So, a lot of times for me to get the mindset right, is sleep. Sleep is kind of important. So,
Do you just say sleep?
yeah, well, listen, if I'm super tired for
15
days
minutes
in a row,
sleep.
yeah, I don't sleep much. It's true. But if I'm super tired for a couple of days in a row, I'll need like some kind of nap at some point in the day to get refocused and get back in the right frame of mind. Because when I'm tired, and I think a lot of people experience this, you're not as clear. Your decision making isn't quite as good as when you're nice and rested and sharp. And so I've started to realize that. Like, Aldrich's 100% right. I'll be up at 3 a.m. and he'll message me like, "What are you doing up at this time?" And I'm like, "I can't sleep." But I can do that a day or two in a row, and then I might be foggy the whole next day. And I'm like, "All right, I need to get some sleep." So for me, it's sleep to get in the right frame of mind.
That's good.
So can I just jump in to also share that during this period of COVID, I've been actually sharing about the impact of our emotions, negative emotions on our body. So when we are being educated about how our emotions affect us, especially like fear or worry. So usually we will have some sign of pain, which is on the back pain. And we thought that, hey, maybe my posture is not great, or something that I ate that triggered the back pain. But actually back pain is a sign of something that's going on in our mind that caused the kidneys to be reacting because of fear and worries. That back pain actually shows up. So our body pain actually is a reflection of what's been going through in our mind and our heart. So so I start to do all this education to help people realize that you've got to start listening and looking at what's happening in your body. Yeah.
That's good to know.
I did not know
very
that.
good.
I didn't know that either.
Because I do get back pain sometimes, and it comes out of nowhere. I'm like, I didn't do anything to have back pain. Why am I having back pain? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because part of the back pain, it shows up with different kind of worries.
So that explains why last night my back hurt during the election.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of Americans have back pain.
There was a lot of back pain last night over here. No, but I actually really like knowing that, like Timothy was saying, sometimes I don't do anything and I'm like, why is my back hurting? And it really doesn't make any sense. And I'm trying to think, okay, I didn't exercise today yet. I didn't carry my kid around because he's very heavy. So I was like, what is it? So that makes sense, because there's been a lot of stress, especially during COVID. The emotional struggles have really gone up, even just subconsciously. So
that's right. Yeah. So usually at the waist area, the back of the waist area, it's usually finances worry. And if you are looking at the middle bag, it's usually the emotional support that you're lacking that you will feel pain. And that's why doctors can't really determine where the pain comes from, because it's all starting with the mind and the thoughts.
That's so good. And it looks like Lizzie said, not at the moment, but I'm sure I will. I've been looking forward to this episode all week. So that's awesome, Lizzie. So what about let's hear from Eldrick or Jen. Who wants to go?
Eldrick.
You want to go first, Jen?
Eldrick, you wore pink. You've got to go first. Oh, you want me to go
changed it
first?
in the middle of the show, if you realize.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I'll go first then.
I started with green, and then you guys spoke about pink and the stereotypes of guys wearing pink, and then about things like that. I thought, hey, I wear it very often, so I'm going to change. So now that I'm in pink, what's the? Tell me, throw me all the stereotypes. I love it. Come, bring it on. What about guys having purple? I have a purple watch. Say, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to listen. Come, tell me. Come, bring it to me.
So I don't know about Don, but purple to me has always been a color that stands for royalty and loyalty. So again,
loyalty.
I think it just depends on, does purple look good on you? What shade of purple is it? You know, for purple fits some men's type of personality and persona. And that doesn't mean that they're girly, but maybe they're more what we would call metrosexual type personality. In comparison to, but even like lumbersexuals, like with huge beards, sometimes wear pink. So it really just depends on the person.
That's right. The lumbersexual.
What's with you and lumbersexual? Yeah, you've been mentioning it for months. But anyway.
Hey, that's one of my favorite terms because it sounds really off. It surprises people, but if you actually Google it, it makes perfect sense. You're like, oh, it's another form of style. It's another way, another look out there that most people don't even recognize as its own style.
I must be uber metrosexual then, because I wear pink, purple, orange, yellow, like I got all colors of the rainbow, so I must be really
all colors of the rainbow.
It's wonderful. It's like you just wear what you like instead of worrying about the stereotyping of society. Yeah, it's really so Audrey. I think when you were gone to change into your pink top, we were talking about actually confident guys would wear pink.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, your own confidence.
So.
Man, I feel I feel sorry for Jeremy right now because we just spent about our first 15 minutes talking about how confident men were being.
If you don't look good in pink, then don't wear it, please. We can still be confident without wearing pink, but if you look good in it and you don't, why not? If it looks good. So.
Sorry, I think I have a delivery. Just give me a second.
No problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually, if it's okay, I'll go ahead and answer Kevin's question. So for me, if there's a lot of negativity, like what she was talking about going on in my mind, then I know that everybody that's on here and everybody that's watching has different belief systems, but my spirituality is a big part of who I am. It defines a big part of me. And so and I know a lot of people at least believe in whatever they believe in. Their beliefs usually involve some type of meditation or prayer of some kind normally, typically. So I definitely, I'm a Christian, so I pray to Jesus. So when I'm having negative thoughts, I turn to meditating or prayer. I listen to what we call worship music. But honestly, music in general across the board in psychology is really good. The one thing that I definitely try to do is, like Dawn was saying, is I try to focus on positive thoughts. So I think about everything that makes me happy. Everything. I picture in my mind every possible, I grasp for every possible feeling that was positive in my life, for every possible dream that I dream of, like places I could go. I mentally go there. Um, every possible happy feeling or thought, I think about it, and it changes me instantly. So
It's great that it works
I
for
grab
you.
on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I'm just saying that it's great that that works for you. Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, women who came to me, it's because the positive thoughts just couldn't help them anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's great. Yeah, keep it up.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
I also want to go back to the color purple. It's really associated with spirituality. So it's a good color to even use it when you just want to balance yourself. Even like for some of us, who want to listen to music or go to bed, like what Tim said. But for some people, when they see the colors that they love, that they feel connect with, yeah, they just feel better too.
That's good.
Yeah.
You,
And that's why
Aldrich?
wearing the right colors is actually important.
So maybe that's why
I like,
lavender oil. Oh, go ahead.
No. I like controversial colors because I think it's part of my personality. I grew up against the type, so my kind of family says all sorts of things to me. So the way I heal it is I confront it. I'm not. I'm like it's like when we are growing up in school and when there are bullies, I will just stand up to them and be a madman, like a crazy guy. Because I think the only way to win a bully is to be crazy. And then they'll be afraid and they'll back off. So my mindset is a little, I won't say like confrontational, but it's more like, hey, I'll prove you wrong. So I have nothing against, initially I have nothing against different colors, for instance, nothing. But if you try to plant an idea in my head to say pink is this, purple is this, orange is this, black is this, I guarantee I'll do it. I'll do it to prove a point. So there was a point where I think it wasn't so much about pink, but it was more about purple. So people are saying like purple is a gay color or only gays wear purple and things like that. So during that time, I had a shiny purple phone. I had a purple watch. My specs are purple frame. Just to prove I just want to make a statement like, hey guys, you guys are being damn stupid.
So-
Like,
so-
what's
So
with all this?
Eldrick, so one of these nights, are we gonna hop on a live show and you'll look like Michael Jackson?
There's nothing about him that I need to prove.
You were proving
No,
that
but,
point.
but for me, it's just I look at when it comes to healing, I look at the scar itself, and I'll just see if who's the one who created it. I mean, if I'm the one who created the scar, then naturally it's with me. I got to fix it. But if the scar is created by someone else, then I don't mind to put myself in a position where it's controversial and slightly confrontational. It not in a verbal or physical way, but in ways that are passive, like this. I'm not fighting anything. I'm not arguing with you. I just change into one, and that's it. So that's how I think about it. I try not to allow like I don't like the idea of people planting ideas into my head, because sometimes the ramifications down the line you can't tell, and I don't like it. I rather pick the can that I dropped than to pick the can someone dropped. Yeah, so that's how I think about it.
That's good.
I agree.
So with me, I think, what do I do, to have the right mindset? I think for me, I keep myself very busy, so it doesn't allow me much time to really think. And then on top of that, one of the things I do is, is a big thing for my mindset is if I take myself off me and focus on others, a lot of times it changes my perspective and mindset. So a lot of times if I'm going through a negative mind thing where I just have a lot of negative thoughts going through my head, I start thinking about what can I do for other people, or what I can do for my kids, or my wife, or, start taking off like, hey, it's not about me anymore. It's about someone else. And all of a sudden, it kind of just changes my perspective. And it's worked really well for me over the years. And I also like to work out, go exercise, just get away. But I do the same thing Jen does too, just having some quiet time, spending time with God, and meditating, prayer, that kind of thing. But that's my take. So yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's a
sometimes.
good practice. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm so sorry. I was thinking sometimes that it might help people when they can, if you're always in a situation where it's negative around you, or you feel a lot of pressure or stress, sometimes it helps to get away for a little bit if you're able to. I know sometimes we're stuck in situations where we can't just get up and leave. But if we're able to get away for an hour or 2 hours, or, a day or a weekend, sometimes it can really help to heal and refresh, just to have that quiet time and be away from that stressful situation. Go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, so going back to what Kevin was saying, it's also a practice. In fact, what I would share with my clients and of course friends around here when they meet with very upsetting kind of situation, one way is to think of the good points of that situation, or the good points of that person who could have said something really, really hurtful, or could have done something really terrible. But one way is to think of at least 3 good points of that person or the situation. But sometimes people will say, no, but that guy is so bad, it's so terrible, it's impossible to have like even one good point. But it's just that in that moment we are just so upset, but actually everyone does have some good points for sure. So it's a matter of just shifting the perspective and turn that situation around. And when that becomes a habit, for me personally, I used to have a boss from hell, and every day we have to like tiptoe to her before we go to her to ask for things and clear our cases. Yeah, because I was actually doing prosecuting illegal employers, and workers who entered Singapore illegally. So it was a very stressful environment, and she literally every day was throwing her tantrum, and she would curse and swear in the office. The whole office would hear who got scolded. And I used this method of thinking about, okay, maybe she's very stressed. Actually, she's a good girl. She's been like taking care of her family. And amazingly, after 6 months, her whole attitude changed. I wouldn't say I take the whole credit, but because I went to her with a very humbling kind of attitude, and I felt that sort of changed the way that she treated me too. And up till today, after 10 years, we are really good friends. So that's a proven method.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it leads to our next question. So I know, Dawn, you deal with anxiety a lot, especially with women. And so I want to ask this is where we can be really authentic and kind of share our experience. So and our guests here, and also the hosts, all the co-hosts, do you guys personally deal with anxiety?
Maybe I'll just go
natural.
first.
I think it's natural. I'll go first. I think when we are doing a lot of things that we are not comfortable with, then this is a very natural response. It's like if we are preparing ourselves for the big dance, let's say, and a competition, an exam, a presentation, or a speaking engagement and things like that, we will feel the anxiety. But the way I cope with it is people do self-talk. I do in a way, but I'll keep it very brief and simple. I will change the way I perceive anxiety into an emotional anchor of excitement. And then I will feel like the energy just keeps snowballing and rolling upwards. So it's like I'm feeling very excited, I'm feeling very excited, I'm feeling very excited. So I'll just keep all this positive energy in me until the event. So that's how I deal with anxiety by and large. But it doesn't work all the time. Like if it's for instance, if it's a life-threatening event, or like if someone is critically ill and is going to pass away, then obviously such things don't work. I tend to just take a quiet moment, because negative vibes, for some reason, they spread very quickly, very, very quickly. So all I have to do is to look at you, and if you look extremely worried, I will catch it. It's faster than the flu. So I don't want to do that to the people around me when it's gonna be bad news. So I'll just walk away. That's how I deal with it in terms of anxiety.
Yeah, I would say I think everybody deals with anxiety on some level, and some people obviously have much more severe cases in certain moments, to the point where they have attacks and things of that nature. But I think, yeah, everybody deals with some level of anxiety, and we all feel anxious at some point over something. I tend to feel a little more anxious when I have a lot on my plate, because I'm the type of person that just doesn't have a lot of patience when it comes to getting things done. So if I have a lot on my plate, I'll feel anxious, and I'll just be trying to rifle through as many things as I can, as efficiently as I can. But at the same time, you feel that anxiety, because you're like, you have a deadline, you want to get something done at the deadline, you want to do it for yourself as well as for other people, and that can lead to anxiety. So I think we all deal with some level of anxiety. That's what usually triggers it for me, and the way I get past it is, I try to sometimes take a deep breath, or sometimes I just step away, and just, instead of trying to rifle through everything, I'll do nothing to just kind of decompress, start over, and then get refreshed to get back on what I'm doing and doing it efficiently.
That's good. What about Aldrich?
I've just done my part.
Yeah.
No, I mean dealing with anxiety.
Sorry?
I mean, what do you do to kind of cope with anxiety when you feel anxious?
I'll just change the way I feel about the emotion. So
Okay.
I'll by and large I'll just keep thinking that it's a positive thing, and that philosophically it's just, hey, I'm alive. I'm not just going through the motions of life. So whenever I'm doing something for the first time and I feel anxious, for instance bungee jumping, for instance parachuting, I'll be like, I'm totally like, I pee my pants, okay? It's just basic. But the moment where I have to stand by the door and the door opens and that wind just comes in, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. But at that moment I'll be like, okay, it's either the guy behind kicks me off, or I'll just jump on myself. There's no going backwards anyway. So I was like, whatever. So I'll just punch out and jump, and it'll be very scary. The first few moments is always very scary, and then the moment where you pull and that chute opens, you'll be like, oh, this is wonderful. Like but you start enjoying all the way down. Like allowing gravity to pull you back to the ground. But the moment you touch the ground, then it's like, it's life again. You know what? You gotta pack the chute. You put it into the bag, and you're sweating, and it's like, it's an airfield, and the waiting area is like 3 football fields away, so you got to walk all the way back. I was like, okay, that's life. So there's the excitement, there's the nice part, and then there's the, okay, life as usual. So you go back, and even after experiencing this, you might be like, hey, you've done it, so you can do it again. But the second round is still very scary. The third round is still very scary. Like we have to do this over and over. Like, oh no, I'll never do this again. But it's fun. It's fun. I think the important thing is don't allow anxiety to hold you back, because if you do, you literally just fall short of experiencing that part of life that you have never experienced before. So if I would have just went backwards in my first jump, I would have never knew how it felt. How terrible, or what a terrible idea it is to jump when it's an extremely windy day, or things like that. Like, so that's how I think about it. It's just experiencing life.
That's good.
I don't know. Does that count? I would like to vote that one out because that's self-inflicted. Like he actually chose to go up in a plane and jump out of it.
I didn't choose it. It's part of my army days. I have to do it. If I have a choice, I would have done it.
Oh, that's different. Yeah. I was like, you can't even pay me to go do that.
I was gonna say, God bless you, because I would not, like, I would be like, you guys, I'd be holding on to the edges. I'd be like, you're gonna have to push me off because I'm not going.
Tim, I think you would jump if there's a price, right?
No.
Chen said even if you pay me. So if it's $1 million, you won't jump.
All right, it's $1 million I might do. But I mean, that's different. You're like, all right, if I can just land safely, I'm $1 million ahead. All right, I can deal with that. But like, yeah, I mean, but just on a surface level, to go up, like, for fun, because people do that for fun. To do that for fun?
Yes,
man,
no way.
I'm not doing that for fun. That's not my idea of fun. That would scare the hell out of me.
I did that for fun. During skydiving.
No,
man,
not for me.
Yeah.
I cannot. That's kind of like horror movies for me. So some people actually enjoy the thrill of watching horror movies. Ever since I was a little girl, I felt there's enough things in the world to be afraid of without purposely going to watch a horror movie.
That's funny.
I cannot do it. I cannot.
What about you, Jen?
You don't have to watch a horror movie. How about Jurassic Park? Does it scare you?
No. But I watched. So here's how I determined that. When I was young, I don't remember what age, but I saw 5 minutes of Chucky.
Oh.
Do you guys the little doll?
Yeah.
It freaked me out for the rest of my young life. It freaked me out so bad. That's why I determined right then and there I will never watch a horror movie. I will never go to a horror house. Never. So I haven't. Never.
Jen, what about you on anxiety?
Well, with anxiety, I actually I actually was diagnosed with it in my later adult life. So I suffered a lot with anxiety as a child, and my parents don't believe in that type of stuff, and they don't believe in medicating, which everybody has their own right to what they believe. And I know that, they did the best that they knew for me. But when I got married, when I met Kevin, Kevin comes from a whole different background, and he said, "Hey, I want to take you to see my doctor," and he helped me a lot. So I actually take medication for that, and and as well as the other stuff that we were talking about, music, exercise, meditation and prayer, journaling. There's talking to somebody. I think, some people don't need that, but a lot of us do. Just having somebody that we can tell anything to, and we can share those deep inner struggles. And sometimes they actually go away just because you spoke it out. And so, so just whatever helps me in that moment. And like Dom said, sometimes there is a certain type of anxiety that no matter what you do, you can't find that happy thought. You can't find that good feeling. And that's when I just pray. I just pray to God to help me, and sometimes this is kind of simple, and I'm sure you guys will make fun of me, but there's been times where I've just gone in and gave Kevin a hug and just sat beside him. because
Oh, that's so
he
sweet.
doesn't struggle he doesn't struggle with anxiety, so he's kind of like that consistent, balanced person. So that really just gave me strength. So
That's wonderful. Because what happened to me was
Yeah.
I did all sorts of things like meditation, all that, journaling and reading motivational books, and then attending like motivational speakers kind of courses. But nothing helped with my anxiety until I realized that there were deeper blocks, which in women, usually we suffer a lot from these blocks, like I'm not good enough, how people are looking at me. I'm horrible looking, I'm a terrible person. So we all have these thoughts that actually accumulated to have the anxiety happen in that way. Yeah. So even after trying many modalities and different therapies, it didn't work. So I prayed too, because I'm a Buddhist. So I prayed for help. And unfortunately, I found a way to help me without medication. And so that's how I got my anxiety gone totally. Yeah. Yes, Aldrich, you want to say something?
No, I'm just whatever Jennifer just mentioned. I remember a very it's a distant memory in the workplace where I was walking past and then someone just came behind and like did this like this. And I was like,
Hug you?
yeah. I was like, who's that? Who's that? So it turns out to be an intern who's suffering from some form of work anxiety because she doesn't know how to get things done. And she stayed all night in office trying to sort out some PowerPoint issues. Then I was like, so why are you doing this? He said, oh, because I was tasked to do that. And I said, but it's not urgent. You don't have to do it overnight. In fact, are you okay? If not, you can go home and come back tomorrow. So I think sometimes hard works, I guess, but don't do it so randomly. It's kind of scary. That's what I remember. But we had quite a good relationship, I guess. So it's not that bad. I have one side note question. I think all of us deal with anxiety of some forms. There are some anxieties that we don't really want to put it out in the open. Like if for some people who has gray area anxieties, like I cheated in an exam or in my relationship and things like that, and alone I feel it. It's terrible. I'm certain, okay? Some of the friends around me, I know. I mean, we can pass moral judgments, but I think that's not the topic for the show today. What I really want to bring forward is how do we deal with such choking moments where we are living it, especially for those that's in the gray areas. What do you think, Don?
I feel that the first thing is to talk to somebody, because we are not meant to be totally alone most of the time, especially when we are struggling internally. Yeah, find someone to talk to and hear different perspectives. Yeah, it's only when we have exhausted, talking to maybe 2 or 3 people, because I think 2 or 3 people are good enough to help us to get on, to have clearer perspectives, because we are so clouded when such things happen in the gray zone. Yeah, so we thought that there's no help. But when we start talking to people, or we start looking for even alternatives, like going online, search for some solution. Sometimes meditation helps for some people. Yeah, so just keep trying and don't stop. If that person is really wanting to get out of that situation, again, it's back to that awareness of how much that person wants to get out of that, and then that will be equal to the effort of being able to step out as fast as possible.
That's good.
Yeah.
So just a side note, Aldrich, I know that was a long time ago. I actually think that girl might like you.
It's the pink
Just so
shirt.
you know. Just so you know.
I think so too,
In all my Chinese series watching, whenever the girl starts to like the guy, she runs up behind and hugs him from behind. When he's walking
really?
away, she grabs him. Yes, every time, every single one, even Korean movie, even all of them. She runs up and grab. But also on a more serious note, she may have found comfort in being close to you. So even if she didn't like you in a romantic way, she needed that comfort, and you were there to provide that, and she felt safe and secure, and it probably eased her anxiety in that moment. So yeah.
Maybe next time just come in front of me. It's easier. Don't come behind me. I can't see. But anyway,
No,
that's just a side story.
I like it.
So Dawn, so when a woman approach you with anxiety, what are some of the ways that you help them regards to what are some steps that can help someone with anxiety? I just want to hear, since this is what you do as well, because I read your profile, and I think some of the people in our audience, they're here to listen to what are the steps to healing, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking that. There are actually many ways. So there are different levels to dealing with anxiety, of course. So one way, when we are feeling like the situation is closing on us, which causes us to feel overwhelmed, then again is shifting of perspective, like looking at the good points of that situation. So that's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, one way is to look at the good points of the situation. The other way is to, I won't ask anyone to meditate, because when you're in a state of anxiety, it's actually difficult to just sit down even for a minute. Your mind is like racing, your heart is like racing. So one way is to just reach out to someone, talk to them. But I would say that the more you talk to more people, the more people you talk to, actually the deeper the issues sinking into your subconscious mind. So one way is to really just get out, maybe to nature. One way is to get out to nature. And I will usually tell the women to just go to the park and just ground yourselves bare feet. Yeah. And the other method that I teach is to just close the eyes and center ourselves in the heart center. Heart center is where we usually feel love or feel pain when someone hurts us. It's actually the same place. I'm not talking about a physical heart, but you know that place, that space when someone just touches you so much, gives you so much love, that space. Yeah, we can actually just center our attention there and feel the gentleness and the softness in that spot. And that's how to center ourselves, because when we feel anxiety or when we are just feeling totally off, that's because the mind is out. When the mind is out, it means that we are not in our body. So a lot of times we feel anxiety is because our mind is like all over the place and we are not inside us. And so that's what's being called, we are not inside the body. And that centeredness approach, it just helps you to center your core. And when you think about just putting a smile in that heart center, it just brings you back to the body. So these are the basic, quick ways to help people with anxiety or feeling stress. And it works, because recently I talked about this approach, and many women actually came to me and say that it's amazing that this 1 minute exercise actually helped them to feel more connected to themselves. Yeah, because with all the negative emotions, our mind is just all over the place, and we are just not in the center, our own center. Yeah,
that's really good.
so of course, the approach is the tool that I use is called Creatrix. Is to remove the blockages from the subconscious level. So it's from the root level, and once it's gone, it's totally gone. But for quick ways, yeah, there are just many ways out there.
That's great. Yeah. That's good to know. So I am a bad person when it comes to talking about anxiety, because I really don't struggle much with anxiety. So I mean, my wife can probably attest to this. I am a very just not much things faze me, I guess. I don't get very anxious, you know. I'm overall pretty patient. I mean, there's a difference, right? Angry and being nervous, you know. But in regards to anxiety, I feel like I am pretty. I don't get anxious much, so because I think I have. I mean, I think it's due to my upbringing. I grew up with a mom that has some probably struggle with some personality issues and different things growing up. So around the home, there was a lot of anxiety all the time, right? So then I started learning to how to block everything out and kind of live my life. So now that I'm an adult, not very much things faze me, to the point sometimes people are like, oh, are you not excited about it? Why are you not excited? And I'm like, oh, I am excited, but I don't get very emotional ever. So yeah. So
I'm one of the only people who can definitely phase him.
Usually how it is. The ones that are
and he has zero anxiety, but sometimes, just like any spouse, okay, it's not his fault, but everybody gets stressed. He can cause people a lot of anxiety sometimes, okay?
I cause anxiety.
Yes.
Because he's a cool cucumber.
He's very laid back, but he does have that CEO personality. His name is Fong Kwok, Kevin, but Fong is his Chinese name. And so Fong literally means like sharp or, moving fast. And so he's always, everything has to be done immediately. Like as soon as he has said it, I haven't even had time to think. Here I am completely laid back and relaxed. And because of anxiety, I stay very calm. I just keep everything just flowing smoothly, slowly. I'm not in a huge hurry. I will get it all done. Okay. But, he comes in and he's like, okay, I'll just do it. And I'm like, you just now said to do it. I haven't even turned around yet to do it. And you do it. Fine. So, but he's awesome. He doesn't struggle with anxiety. And I think sometimes that's why I can come in and just find that security, and, so yeah.
This is great. So when it comes to anxiety, the opposite of anxiety is what helps us feel empowered. So I want to just hear from you guys. What helps you guys feel empowered?
I can go first.
Yep.
So for me, it's absolutely music. I think everybody knows that by now. But music definitely helps me feel empowered. There's a song that I really relate to. It could change my entire mood in a second. And it has
Ice Baby.
Yeah, right. Where's the sheesh at?
Where's the sheesh?
But yeah, no, it's music. Because I remember so many years going into the car business on a Saturday morning, and it's Saturday morning, there's a part of you that doesn't want to be working, and I would just throw on some music, and next thing you know, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like, I'm ready for the day, and it would be that quick. And I think music is definitely something that I'm passionate about, and it definitely is empowering to me.
That's good.
For me, it's music too.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, so it's the same for me. Like listening to my favorite music or something really upbeat, it just empowers me, it just uplifts me. And of course, plus wearing the colors that I love at the start of the day, yeah, it empowers me. Yeah. Yeah, Audrey.
I think at the moment where a lot of thoughts cross my mind, or when I feel anxious, I would stop focusing on that moment, and I will start thinking about the future. So, for instance, if the moment is just before a presentation, or it's just before a competition, I would forget about just thinking about that, and I'll start thinking about the near future, like how does it feel when I cross the tape, or how does it feel when I'm done with the event. So that's one way I cope with it. I don't think about that moment. I think about just having a mindset switch, enjoy it because I deserve to be here. I've spent my time and my hard work to get here. And then I just keep thinking about what could happen in the near future. If it's at that exact moment where I need the empowerment, for instance, if I wake up to a sluggish day, or maybe if I wake up to the wrong side of the bed or something like that, I find that picking up the pace works for me. So one of the ways to help me is through music. So I listen to very fast music, like strong beats, fast music, and then I start walking faster. So for some reason, when you pick up your speed, when you release higher levels of energy, the positive energy comes back. And then I'll feel better. Like even when we go faster and we breathe deeper as we go along, it feels like as your chest and lungs expand, you are already feeling very, very empowered. So that's how I think about it from a day-to-day perspective.
Aldrich, if you like fast music, you should dump on one of my TikTok live DJ sets. You'd be all turned up.
In truth, I look forward to your LinkedIn every Fridays.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty, Aldrich. It is fun. I like his stuff too.
What about Jen? What about you?
What makes me feel empowered? My beliefs. I mean, my beliefs, my values, God Himself. My family, those who believe in me, that are around me. Women that are in my tribe and community, even on LinkedIn. I feel we empower each other through just believing in each other. There's absolutely no judgment of who you are or what you do or how you feel or where you come from. There's just zero. It's just all a bunch of good-hearted women who own businesses and encourage one another, which is the BUPF, Bottoms Up Female. So shout out to them tonight. I definitely feel empowered every time that I get off with that group of women when we've had a Zoom call together. Some of them are in Singapore, like Jacqueline Numeric, Jacqueline. And so just really wonderful people and women who just, I feel they just get you. They just understand each other. I think men need that as well, but sometimes I feel women need it more, having that community. It's very empowering. And also I think building something that's your own can be empowering, especially for those who maybe lack in confidence. You know, having something like a business that you're building on your own and using your skill sets to do it. I think there's a lot of things that make me feel empowered. But I would say definitely my family and God and BUPF and actually you guys too. The core group here is awesome. Really awesome. You guys are always there. You're always supporting, each other, and it's just a wonderful group and a wonderful tribe.
Awesome.
Nice.
But you, Don?
In fact, I feel that it's important to meditate at the start of the day to just calm the mind, just center the mind. And I never want to miss any meditation in the morning. Yeah, so I have to do my meditation at the start of the day, like right after I clean myself up, I brush my teeth, I wash up, and the next very thing to do is to start my day with meditation. Yeah, so that really helps to center the rest of my day, to help my mind to be calm, to help my mind to be clear, and to not be rushed by the fast pace around me. Yeah. So, and I feel really empowered by that because in Singapore here, everything has to be like also happening fast and quick. I think we have many Kevins here in Singapore around us. So yeah, so meditation helps to just not be pushed by people around who wants things really quick and now.
Yeah. So I think for me, feeling empowered, I think is also knowing yourself, being able to really know who you are and what works for you. And I think part of empowerment is also being able to connect with others. And a lot of times where I find empowerment is by having the ability to encourage others, even maybe people on my team, other people, friends. A lot of times when we're giving, I feel you can feel empowered. Even here on this platform, LinkedIn, when you're actually doing it and you're shifting the mindset of being, I say this a lot, being me instead. How can we give back to the platform? How can we provide value? How can we embrace others? How can we give little we can, through our time or through a post? And then someone writing back, in your inbox and say, hey, what you said, Kevin, really made a difference, and it's for no one else to know, right? It's just for me, and a lot of times I wake up and it's empowering because it's like, man, it makes it worth doing this. When you wake up in your inbox and you go, oh, my little post that I didn't think would make a difference, that it helps someone else, and that's empowering, and for me, music as well. I love listening to music, exercising, and eating. So I find it empowering to just go enjoy food. So you'll notice even in Jen and my profile, we love checking out good coffee shops, unique restaurants. And sometimes I feel, I know it's not healthy to do like stress eating, but I feel sometimes when you're anxious or you're stressed, having a down day, go enjoy something, at a restaurant. And I think majority of people like food, and it can be just a little, piece of a bakery item that you like. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like for me, I enjoy drinking a soy latte, and it helps my day if I'm, just to feel empowered and I'm ready to go again. So, yeah.
You have no idea. I hope you're recording this because that is valuable information that he would never say before, never admit to. So thank you for sharing that.
I do enjoy the soy latte. I don't enjoy the price of Starbucks.
He doesn't like spending the money.
I like so anyone out there in Kansas City, if you feel like buying me a soy latte, all those people that hit me up on an inbox to sell me something, invite me for a Starbucks or send me a Starbucks card. You'll get a response.
But you're still buying from Starbucks, right?
That is awesome.
Huh?
Are you still buying from Starbucks?
I still buy from Starbucks.
Okay, that's good. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Then I know that some portion of the dividends that's coming to me is actually from you. Oh, great job.
Oh, that's funny.
That is so funny.
It calms me. It empowers Eldrick when I buy coffee from Starbucks. So,
Yeah, on that note, I think it's okay to treat ourselves, especially when we are feeling down, because a lot of times we think that we don't deserve certain things. Yeah, especially when we are in like a self-bashing mode. The way to break away from that mode is to just treat ourselves to your favorite soy latte.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
So this is one of our last questions for the night, but I feel this question we can really expand on because I think a lot of the folks that join us tonight, they're here to talk about healing. So if you're hurt, what does healing look like? Or how do we, to rephrase it, what's a good way that you found to identify when you are hurt? And that what does that healing process look like in your own personal journey? And for Dawn, since this is what you do, how can someone maybe even identify that they're hurt?
Yeah, so this is one thing that takes a lot of courage to look at, like when we are feeling hurt. So what's really hurting? Is it our ego? A lot of time we feel hurt because it's like the ego is bruised because we think that we are correct in a certain aspect, and that's why when someone is doing something or saying something that goes against what we think it should have been said or done, and then we feel hurt. And one way to look at it is to also look at what am I supposed to learn from this episode? Because when something happens, it's meant to happen. There is actually nothing by coincidence. Things happen for a reason. And what is this episode trying to tell me and teach me? And what am I supposed to learn? So that's also looking at it positively instead of looking at the situation negatively. Because in fact, there's nothing good or bad, but it's what's happening that's wanting us to learn in life. Yeah.
That's a very good message for America tonight. So. Everyone, you just heard it from
people in America is getting hurt.
Yeah. Yep, you just heard it from Don. It doesn't matter what happens in the next few hours. You know, whatever happens, supposed to happen. So
everything happens for a reason. Amen.
And you wake up tomorrow in America, and we go back to our jobs and go on with our everyday.
Yeah.
Yep. So, who wants to go next?
I'll go next. You know, I think for me, I probably understand when I'm hurt and like recognize it. But I'm not as great at healing sometimes. Just because I tend to dwell on things. And, you know, for the most part, I'm pretty good about, I'm a lot like Kevin, right? There's not too much stuff that bothers me. But when something bothers me, it can really bother me. And that sometimes can be very hard to get over for me. So, you know, I think for me, what I've found is to try to keep myself occupied to, you know, move past something. And eventually, I think when you're ready, then you can come to grips with whatever's bothering you and try to move past it. But the reality is, for me, I think the best medicine is just to stay busy and not think about it, because I do have a tendency to dwell on something and just kind of sit on it and let it play over and over in my head and not be able to get past it for a while. So, you know, I think it's important to just be able to recognize, hey, this is not good. Let me do something that's going to make me at least get past it in this moment. And then when the time comes and I'm ready, then I can deal with it. But yeah, it can be difficult sometimes, for sure.
I would like to hear what Don says about this, because I'm not a excuse me, I'm not a very patient person. So I don't like feeling hurt. I don't like dwelling in hurt. I don't like being depressed. I don't like anxiety, and no one feels comfortable completely with that. But some people, like, you know, like what Timothy's talking about, sometimes as a human we dwell there, but it's not comfortable. And I was just thinking, I've heard this a lot, but time heals everything. And so, or most things, maybe not everything. But for me, sometimes I don't like to take a lot of time. Let's hurry up and get it over with. And so this is where I want to hear Don's thoughts, is there's the stop thinking about it and see if it'll go away, or there's the it's still sitting there, and so I need to look directly at it and face it and figure out how to overcome it so that then I can move on. And so, but I know for me, I'm always trying to hurry up and figure it out real quick so that we can get healed and move on, because I don't want to sit there like Tim was talking about. I don't want to sit there. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to let things affect me, because then I can't do the other things I need to be doing. So what's your thoughts on that, John?
I definitely want to encourage us to just sit there and think about it. It's good to move on. In fact, it's when you're moving on and you can actually go back and think about, why did I feel hurt, rather than sitting there and dwelling on it. Yeah, this is something actually I'm against. Yeah, don't dwell into it, because the more you dwell into it, it just sinks deeper into the subconscious, and that block gets sunk deeper. And we don't want that to happen. So one way is to really just move on to doing something else, but reflect on that. It's about reflection, actually, rather than to just sit there and do nothing. It's perfectly all right to move on. And yes, we want to be fast, we want to be quick. You can do all you can to make things move on fast, but sometimes that result just doesn't come that quickly. And there's a reason for that, because things happen for a reason. Yeah, so just contemplate on that. It's like a reflection rather than just dwelling in that negative state.
And I know sometimes there's different levels of hurt. So it's different, you know, the difference between just somebody saying something mean or somebody stabbing you in the back that you trusted, you know, running that trust, or somebody, you know, divorcing you, getting a divorce. There's so many different levels, or somebody dying, you know, so some things I know don't come fast. I guess I was talking more about like the everyday stuff. Somebody let me down or somebody said something, you know, because yeah, so that's kind of what I
Yeah, so a favorite phrase that I usually tell people is when we feel hurt at different level on a daily basis, of course, is because we do have some forms or some levels of expectations. So to me, one of my favorite phrases now is no expectation, no frustration. Yeah. And that has been working really
But does
well.
it mean that you do nothing?
No, you still do something, but you do what you can. But if you want to expect people beyond what they think that they should do, you are having the expectation which is not normal. And then you're going to have frustration when people are not going to act according to what you want. But of course, if you're the boss, it's different, okay? We're talking about just daily life issues, like maybe with your children, with your spouse, especially. Yeah, we have that kind of like invisible or unspoken kind of expectations. Yeah, that's where we're going to have a lot of frustration.
What's really frustrating to me too is there's different levels of expectations depending on the relationship. So for example, those that I'm closest to, I have a certain expectation for them to, for example, come back and apologize or to talk with me and work it out. Whereas they may not feel that they're wrong. So no matter how much you talk, you're not going to change anything, but there's that need for them to say, I'm wrong and I'm sorry, but you can't get them to do it, you know, and then, but then, you know, maybe just more of a surface level friend, you're not going to have the same expectation or the same power to hurt you, you know, the same impact.
Yeah, it does take me practice to keep reminding myself, no expectation, no frustration, like especially from my husband. If he doesn't do certain house tasks, yeah, so I would just tell myself that no expectation, no frustration. If I can do it, I'll do it. Yeah, if he doesn't do it, it's fine. Yeah, I'll do it later when I can.
Yeah, that's a very tough thing within a relationship.
Wow.
No expectations.
Are you guilty?
Honestly, if people carried that mentality, many relationships would be so much better, because that's a lot of problems in any relationship or a marriage have to do with expectations. It's so true.
That's right.
And many houses would be messier and chaotic.
Listen, if would you rather have a messy household with no arguments, or would you rather have a perfectly clean household where people are each other's throats?
A balance. I want both. So I mean, I'm just being honest.
But then no expectations. You could do it on your own without the expectation.
But I think that you're almost okay. So this is just my point of view. So I'm not putting anyone else down. But I think you're almost not human if you have zero expectations. And also, when you're in a relationship, or for example, Kevin and I, if he doesn't have any expectations of me, I don't grow as a person. And also, he can't do everything and I can't do everything. So there's actually a frustration that can come if you have no expectation as well, and they don't do anything and you need to do everything. You also end up spoiling that person sometimes when they need to be forced to grow in an area that they lack in. So that's, I mean, that's my personal thoughts. But at the same time, you shouldn't have so much expectation that you're always angry with that person, or they can't even live or breathe and feel comfortable in their home. That's not right either. So I think it's a balance.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that on an ongoing basis that you can actually at the very beginning be clear about, okay, what each one's role is about. Yeah, and then you go about doing your role. Yeah, you can have an agreement of sort or just talk things out. Yeah, but after that, yeah, you just have to give that person space.
Jen, I'm gonna send you my proposal tonight.
Yes. And we'll go back and forth. So
you'll receive a PDF in a couple hours.
Yes. And then I will make some revisions before but you will go back and forth before there's any signing. But I think also it's knowing what other people are capable of. So there's some times where you want someone to do something and you have an expectation, but they may, even if they want to do it, may never be capable of remembering to do it. They may not be capable of having the time to do it. So it depends on the person that you're with. And you like Kevin's learned that there's certain things he cannot expect from me, because as much as I would love to do it, it's not going to get. So he will have to, if he wants that done, he has to do it himself. But so yeah, but I try my best. I mean, he and I are the only example I know, because
No, I like what Jeremy said here too. I think the most important word, unspoken expectations. Expectations need to be spoken, especially for spouses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it boils down to communication, honestly. I mean, it's not to say no expectations means that nobody does anything in the house and nobody cares, but it's about having that open communication and having the agreement. Hey, you can do this, I could do that, right? And at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't do their part, I still don't think it's reason to get that upset. In the grand scheme of things, do you want to constantly be fighting over silly stuff? There's a lot of stuff that couples fight over that's completely unnecessary. And, not for nothing, dirty dishes can get done in the morning, right? So people get upset about that, oh, this one or that one didn't do the dishes, so I'm mad, right? Who cares? They can be done in the morning, right? It's not that big a deal. It's not arguing over.
That's what I told Kevin until we got a cockroach infested house and we had to we couldn't get rid of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I do.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, but I do believe, like, just from experience, expectations do tend to put a large strain on a relationship. And there's. For me personally, I've been disappointed so many times in life that without, this is a great phrase, no expectations, no frustration. I love that. That's like my mantra from now on. But, realistically, I started to adapt that over the years. Like, I stopped expecting anything of people and just was like, all right, whatever. Like, if it needs to get done, I need to be able to do it. If I can't do it, then I can't get upset. It is what it is. And it's reduced my stress tremendously just from not having constant expectations of people.
And I think this is really good. We're talking about being hurt and healing. And right now we're talking about more like from a spouse perspective. But this also applies from friendship and even from an employee-employer perspective, right? Because a lot of times in the workplace too, since we're on LinkedIn, how many times have a coworker or colleague might have hurt you? And it's because of the lack of communication that you're hurt. And then no one says anything, or a manager or a boss. And oftentimes we're just frustrated. We're unhappy going to the workplace because we've been hurt, but we didn't take the time to talk about it. So a lot of stuff is hidden. Even for me, right? I'm a pretty laid back person. And a lot of times, I might have felt mistreated or it wasn't fair, right, when I was working in corporate America. But then I didn't say anything, right? So it doesn't hurt anyone but yourself. So I think this applies too in the workplace, because when you're dealing with people, you're going to get hurt. That's just life, you know, and how do we go about it? So I want to hear from you guys. So so let's shift a little instead of like a spouse, husband, and wife relationship. How do you deal with being
Oh
hurt?
man.
I'm changing it up.
That's okay.
So how do you deal with even being hurt in the workplace? Because we do have a large LinkedIn audience here, and I think a lot of times people don't talk about this topic, being hurt in the workplace. You know, a lot of people quit their jobs because they've been hurt. You know, or a lot of people suffer going to that job and they're feeling hurt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually have a lot of experience with this, so I could speak to it. You know, I think it really depends on the employer. Now, like anybody who knows me from LinkedIn knows I'm pretty direct. So I've never been one to be shy about how I feel about how an employer treats me. But at the same time, it's about what their level of empathy and care is for their employees. And I've been on both sides of it. I've been, you know, on the side where I've had great employers who would do anything for you and had your back. And I've been on the other side where I felt like nobody cared. And when nobody cares, that's a very dangerous place, because at that point, it's like, why am I showing up for work, right? Why am I giving you 50 hours of my week if you don't really care about me? And, you know, I think for all the employers out there and all the employees, I think as an employee, look, you have a right to feel like your employer should care about you. And for the employers out there, you should care about your employees. I mean, not for nothing, they don't have to show up for work every day. They don't, you know, just because they're signing a check for them, you don't own them. So, you know, I think it's important for employers to really appreciate their employees and create a good culture. Because if not, what's keeping them there? You know, there's tons of, I mean, let me not say there's not tons of jobs anymore post-pandemic. But, you know, before the pandemic, there was tons of jobs. And people could have very easily job hopped. So, you know, I think culture is everything for employers. And I think people should pay attention to that on both sides, personally.
Yeah. So I think first of all, it's a matter of whether is that environment toxic. So if that work environment is toxic, then it's important to just take that courage to cut that off. Cut it off meaning leave that job. But if you cannot do that, then I would still go back to that approach that I shared at the beginning of this show. It's where you look at the good of the situation. Yeah, you have to deliberately think consciously about what are the at least 3 good points of that person who hurt you, or at least 3 good points of that situation that's happening to us. There are definitely both sides to the story, or both sides to people. So it's really making that conscious effort to do that to help improve things along the way. Yeah.
So for me, there's some part of me that resembles a lot like Tim and Kevin, where I can be unemotional because I'm so into my zone and so focusing on the work. So I don't really feel like hurt in terms of pinches or bruises. I won't. So, but that spectrum, the spectrum where I am numb about it is very wide. But if it reaches the point where I feel hurt or threatened, I think I won't bother talking to that person anymore, because the context could be that it could be some form of office politics that I do not know, and when I caught wind of it, it was actually something very serious. So meaning to say, like, it could have been multiple rounds of backstabbing already and things like that. So when I sense it and when I know it, I will not initiate any conversation. I will hold everything. So it's like a very deep funnel. I'll hold everything in, and I'll just be waiting for the time to counterattack. That's all for me. So I think to me it works on a point of no return. In a way that on the good side, it is, you can make all the mistakes you want. It doesn't bother me, because the more mistakes you make, the more experiences you accumulate, the better you become. But you cannot make the mistake to a point where the client complaints come before you update me. So no, you can't go there, because the moment you go there, I'm going to respond way faster than you do in a way that you will never expect. The flip side of that in a negative way in the workplace is you can say all you want about me, it doesn't bother me, it won't hurt me. But if I hear something that is really serious already, I will not be bothered to talk to you anymore. And I, deep down, inside or outside the office, I'll wait for my chance to destroy you. I'll wait for my chance to destroy you.
That sounds like Kevin. That sounds like Art of War. That's like the Art of War tactic.
It's just my way of expressing me being hurt. Like, you know, I just want to bite a chunk of meat off you. Like, ow. That's all.
That's all.
Nothing to do with ow.
You can rain down droplets on me, but when there's enough droplets, I'm going to drown you when you're not looking.
No, but
Could be.
I totally relate to Aldrich. Once you pass the point of no return, that's it. Like, it's done.
That's it.
And there's no going back. It's just done. And it's really hard to work for that employer for an extended period of time once they cross that line. I'm with you 1,000,000%, Aldrich. I totally agree.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to, what Don said, right? It really matters on the environment you're in. Is it a healthy environment? And I think we need to evaluate that. And I think that doesn't just go with the workplace, right? It also goes within home, right? Are you in an abusive relationship? Is it a healthy environment? You know, are you living in an abusive country? If so, if you want to complain, you can move to another one. Just joking. But I think when it comes to healing, I think it's so important. I think some of the key points, throughout tonight's conversation is you first have to identify that you're hurt, and you have to find the root cause of it. And then you have to talk to people, you have to find people you can trust, and you need to talk it out, right? And don't keep it to yourself, right? So I think all these are things to, in order to heal. And so before we end tonight, Don, since you're the healing expert probably out of all of us here, what are some recommendations if someone that's really hurting, where can they start, like, what in the healing process? Like, yeah.
I would say pick up a new hobby. Yes, pick up a new hobby, move the body, especially for someone who is really wanting to just do something for a beginning. Yeah, move that body, because in the body, when you're experiencing negative emotions, especially anger or sadness or grief, we tend to just sit or just lie down and keep thinking about it. So we're actually not moving that body. So it's actually important to move that body, go do something, go take a walk. You can walk anywhere, but a park is the best where there are nature. But if you can't, just shift away from that sedentary kind of action. Yeah, anyway, it's like a controversial, it's not an action, because we tend to just sit there and keep dwelling, or just go to sleep sometimes. Going to sleep is just suppressing it, actually, for women especially. So it's good to just go do something new, move the body, go for a walk, do yoga. Yoga is great. Yeah, I've been experiencing great benefits from yoga. Or running.
What did you say, Dawn, about women and sleep? I missed just that one line.
Yeah, so women tend to be suppressing lots of emotions. Yeah, so we want to avoid that. Yeah, and pink suit. I don't know.
So I shared this with Kevin because he is manly, but he is wearing pink, and this will heal your soul. I'm just telling everybody out there.
I agree with you, Jen.
Drake, here are some goals for us BUP guys.
Yeah. I want to look like that guy. My hair is not that long yet.
I think Timothy is the closest without actually having to grow hair whatsoever, right? Timothy,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's funny. So yeah, these are all great points, and it was a very fun night. A lot of fun talks. And so next week on episode 35, it's actually 34. We could talk about financial health of your business. So it's not as fun as tonight's talk, right? Because tonight's talk is definitely we cover a lot of ground. So, but hey Don, how can people in our audience follow you or connect with you, and share with them some of the services you offer as well?
Yeah, so everyone can find me on LinkedIn, since this is a LinkedIn platform that we are having this video. Yeah, so it's great. We can always connect through messages. I do check my messages and I do respond to them. Yeah, or just drop me a note on one of my posts on LinkedIn, which is Don Chen. You can find me there. I think Kevin, thanks to Kevin and Timothy, they have been tagging me, as well as Audrey. So yeah, if you are there, follow us. You'll find me too. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. And then also, we want to thank our sponsors, StreamYard, for making this all possible, that we can stream on multiple locations. And we also have a link that I'm sharing. It's a 2 weeks free trial as well through StreamYard. And then tomorrow, Eldrick, myself, Tim, Jeremy, and maybe even Jen, we're going to be on the StreamYard live show. So hope you can join us. And before we end tonight, so I have a special announcement to our audience that are still with us. Timothy launched his book that he wrote. So Tim, why don't you share during this time, can you share with us Biz of Time? So what is it about, and where can they buy it?
Absolutely. So The Business of Time is the name of the book by yours truly. There's no ghostwriters, there's no fluff. It's all original content. That being said, The Business of Time is just about learning how to make money doing things that you enjoy, learning how to make money without having to physically work, and taking that additional time and doing things that you enjoy with your life, as opposed to just living and going to work and being stressed. And actually, it's perfect when we're talking about healing, because I know so many people, their job is one of the most stressful parts of their entire life. And that's all day, every day. That's 8 hours of their day or more that, they have to heal from. And so, I learned after 20 years of being in corporate America that, it's not that important. The money you make, there's other ways to make it. You don't have to show up for a 9 to 5 every day. That's not the only way. I also learned you don't only have to have one source of income to, make money and be profitable for yourself. And so that's a lot of the things I talk about. But the main premise is, like I said, it's about taking back control of your life and enjoying your time and not spending so much time, just punching the clock to support your family. Yes, you have to support your family to keep your mental health, but there's more than one way to earn income. And there's healthy ways to earn income and there's unhealthy ways to earn income. And the book is about teaching people about healthy ways to earn income that's not going to cause you stress and anxiety. So definitely check it out. It is available on Amazon right now, or you can go to my website, bizoftime.com, bizoftime.com. You can purchase a regular copy, or you can purchase a signed copy there by me. And soon to be on Barnes & Noble as well. So thank you guys for allowing me to shout out the book. It just came out, and I think it's going to be impactful to a lot of people, because I wish I would have learned the lessons I learned in the book 10 years earlier, if not earlier than that.
Yep. And I think, we can all agree within our group. I think happiness plays the biggest part in healing. If you can find happiness, it brings healing in your life. And I think oftentimes we get caught up in the busyness of life that we don't even have time to heal. And it's like Jen said earlier, oftentimes time brings healing. And I think getting your time back, is so important. I've noticed that even in my life during COVID, there's a lot of negativity with COVID, but at the same time, I gained so much time back just being home. During the lockdown, I started really seeing, hey, the things I was missing out on because I was so busy in the workplace. And it's really bring healing in my life through things that really didn't matter that much, right? I'd rather have a healthy family, happy home than chasing, a 9-to-5 dream, right? And I think it's so important. It's the simple things that matters most. And stay positive. And thank you so much, Dawn, for joining us tonight. And hey, we look forward to having all of you back next week in episode 34. And thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, thanks, Jen and Timothy and Audrey. It's really great meeting everyone here.
All right. Later,
Thank you for
everyone.
joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I am